Lagos State, Ikorodu, Epe, Badagry, Etiosa, Ikeja, and the Lagos Island. This magical city by the waters, the city that rules all other cities, the biggest cultural melting pot and commercial hub in all of West Africa. This is the island where dreams never really die. This is the center of excellence. All the greats have been here. From the great Zeke of Africa and his mentor, Herbert Macaulay, Henry Carr, whose library was so big, he donated to universities. The gentlemanly Alhaji Tafawa Balewa, to the sage himself, Chief Obafemi Awolowo. This also was their city. It is the city of Bola Ahmed Tinubu, man of many parts and great exploits, meaning different things to different people, yet simply known to many as Bola Tinubu or BAT, the most influential and widely connected politician of his generation. Born March 29, 1952, Bola hit the ground running, a man in a hurry. He knew he had an appointment with fate. Destiny has preordained him for a job. After his elementary Through all those years in cold, windy Chicago, his mother, Mama Alhaja Abibatu Mogaji, great woman, may Allah rest her soul, stood firmly behind him, supporting him in every way possible. However, like many other young, hard-working Nigerians, he did not put all his eggs in one basket. Neither did he behave like the son of an influential woman.
We met in Chicago, we're all struggling students, working hard to make to better our life.
He worked as a doorboy. He was a security guard and drove cabs on those chilly streets of Chicago as he burned the midnight oil to excel in school.
We have no money. We have to go to work two jobs, go to school, and at the same time come home, no sleep. So at that time, our eyes is always like red because we don't have enough sleep. We work in a place called, Buru. It's a factory where the temperature is about 500-600 degrees high. Most of us work till 11 o'clock at night. So you come home, you take a shower, the party up normally start by like 1 o'clock. So we go to party till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. Then we sometimes some of the party, they have breakfast. So we live there, we come home, get ready to go to work or go to school.
Upon graduation, high-quality companies like Arthur Andersen, Deloitte, Haskins & Sells, now Deloitte Haskins & Touche, even GTE, the largest utility and communications company in America at the time, offered employment to the brilliant Bola Tinubu. He chose Arthur Anderson Deloitte Haskins and Sells. After a few years, he moved over to GTE, from where he resigned to join Mobil in the United Kingdom. He returned to Nigeria in 1983 to work with Mobil Nigeria as an auditor. His culture of hard work and brilliance paid off, and he rose up the corporate ladder in the company to the position of treasurer.
Our path crossed about over 30 years ago, and he sought for employment under Mobil. We interviewed him, and we found him very useful. We have a search system. He submitted his documents. We looked through them. We even had to refer to some of the colleges he said he attended. And our AR department was satisfied that he had the certificates. Otherwise, Mobil would not employ him. And therefore employed him as an audit supervisor. There and then, he grew with the company. He then carried out an audit report, which created a lot of stir in the company. The findings were very, very disturbing, and it led to even the transfer of the chief executive at that time. Then we sat down, we looked around, we couldn't find anyone capable to be the treasurer of the company, and at least to implement the negative comments on the treasury department. We then decided that this guy who wrote this report, we should give him the job so he can implement his findings. We then called him, promoted him, and offered him the position of treasurer. And he continued as treasurer of Mobil since then, until one day when he came in and he said he was interested in politics.
But the lure of visionary politics proved too strong for Bola Tinubu. Destiny. Sagacious, methodical, informed, generous, accessible, urbane, debonair, constantly upwardly mobile, ever planning, always assessing, he knew he was ready. He could not sit idly by, insulated from the effects of the long years of military intervention in the country. Bola threw his heart in the political ring. His constantly fine-tuned focus, his committed vision, his purpose to better the lot of the masses unwavering. Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the phenomenon, was born. And that is how it all started. The long journey into the unpredictable Nigerian political arena to cause change in the lives of millions of Nigerians. Once he believes in a cause, he is unstoppable. 1991, he contested and won with a landslide to represent Lagos West Senatorial District in the 1992 Senate. Even at that time, in his political party, SDP, with vastly experienced men like Sheikh Musa Yaradua, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar, and many others, he quickly became a force to be reckoned with.
Well, I first met Ahmed Bola Tinubu, 1992-93 Senate. Then Senate was the Federalhood of Nigeria. I was NRC, and he was in SDP. So we were from different parties. We met. We were a little bit opposed to each other. So that's how we met. Somehow we, due to our contribution in the Senate, we became friends.
His first contest was to be the senatorial candidate for Lagos State. He went into it, and at the end of the day, he polled the highest number of votes compared to any other senator in the Federation.
But it was not all smooth sailing. Today's Bola Tinubu has a rich history as a democracy activist, a dogged fighter for just causes. With other great men and women, he confronted the authoritarian military government of the day for democracy, for Nigeria. The mandate of Chief Moshood Kashimawo Abiola, Nigeria's symbol of democracy, must be restored.
They tread the path of confrontation.
They formed NADECO. Understandably, the military did not take kindly to the challenge. Some were flogged, they caged some and tortured many. Some ran abroad, while some stayed back to continue the fight.
During the NADECO period, he displayed a lot of sagacity and interest in the development and progress of Nigeria as a whole.
Back in the NADECO days, he fought for the progressive movement of this country as we see it today.
Well, I wasn't involved on the streets, but I was involved in the law firm because I remember when he was standing trial, his late uncle, Wale's dad, late Asiwaju Tinubu, used to express concern about the quality of legal representation he was getting. Incidentally, he was being prosecuted at the time by late Bayo Manwa, who was NDPP of Lagos State. So Alhaji Tinubu will come and call a conference of lawyers, myself, Wale, and himself, and we will put up positions that we thought better supported his legal representation. Well, very late into the night, of course, I must say. So we will prepare all of those arguments all through the night and then get them to Chief Ajayi's chambers late in the night for his consideration in the continuation of trial the following. So those were our own roles. There were so many people playing so many roles.
I found Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu a very dogged, determined, patriotic, and committed fighter for democracy.
NADECO period is not a very pleasant period that I really like to recall. It was tough, very, very challenging. During that time, I remember that even when I came back, I suffered amnesia up till today from the shock. This is not the life I planned for. You know, it's a life, me and my husband, children, family, we go on family vacation, not to be a life of service. But you know, do I regret that? No. The more I grow in age, I advance in age, I understand that living a significant life is better than living a life of pleasure. So the significance of it is the sacrifice that has to be made.
With the help of God, many strong-willed men and women willing to make great sacrifices and the support of the people, they wrestled Nigeria from the grips of military dictatorship. The democracy we celebrate today owes its origins to those great Nigerians. Bola Tinubu was in the thick of it from beginning to the very end. The marvel, the mystique, the magic that is today's Bola Tinubu was birthed in the furnace of that struggle, and he has not waned since then. He had earned himself the esteemed title of Asiwaju of Lagos. 1999. Wiser, his political network wider, his political base stronger, Bola Tinubu came back.
I met Bola Ahmed Tinubu one-on-one in 1999 when he contested for the position of governor of Lagos State. He addressed the Igbo community, and the outing was very interesting. He was such a brilliant man, very intelligent, full of ideas. And right there and then, we committed to voting for him, and we did.
On the platform of the Alliance for Democracy, AD, he became governor of Lagos State.
He was a good, loyal party man. Well, he was within the Alliance for Democracy. He was a vibrant young man.
He has the ability of identifying fellow hard workers and people who have talent.
Where you have the likes of Professor Yemi Osinbajo, you have Mr. Dele Alake heading strategy and information, you have BRF Tunde Fashola, who was his chief of staff, Raul Faregbe-Shola, and humble small ones like myself.
I think the point really is to understand the kind of persona that he has the capacity to attract, and also his disposition to interact with younger people. Multidimensionally, of course, from the street trader to the university professor.
And he has a knack for promoting talented people into position of relevance. He's very good at putting round pegs in round holes.
As a followership of people that can lay claim to have been made by him, I can be said to be one of them in that when I came into politics the first time, he supported me to be governor. He was here in Ondo State, campaigned for me. Yes, maybe along the line by the time it was second term I was going to run, we went different ways. But that does not matter. It's all part of politics. But this time around when I ran again, he came back and we are there. So we cannot take away from him the fact that we have more or less like a number of us who can be said to have had from his own, who are tutelage, can be said to be in his own political class. He was like a teacher to so many people, and many people grew up under him.
In 8 years of inspiring leadership, he had turned Lagos State around and made it the envy of other states and their governors, some of who visited to understand his magic of governance.
When he became a governor, I said, I'm not going to reinvent the wheel. You can't question the accomplishment. As a city governor, I envied what he accomplished in Lagos.
And I could still remember when he was governor of Lagos State, he was on the 3rd Mainland Bridge, and there was an accident. He bumped into that accident and saw someone who had been badly injured. He stopped his convoy and personally picked on the victim and took that victim to the hospital and stayed with the victim, and later asked the Commissioner for Health to stay there and made sure the people that were badly wounded were properly taken care of. That is a worthy example.
One thing we need to learn and we need to emulate from him. First of all, we need to look at his life and the characteristics that surround him. One of it is generosity, which Islam has laid emphasis on, which Almighty Allah too has laid emphasis on in the Holy Quran. Secondly, when you look at Bola Ahmed Tinubu, one of the embodiments that you need to see from him that is a go-getter, is a result-oriented person, is a political icon, and is a political strategist too.
I actually joined his government in 2002. So I was with that cabinet for 5 years. Asiwaju was, and I'm sure he's still, a leader that is next to none. He's a kind-hearted man. He's a man that he's so very compassionate, very understanding, very accommodating. During that time, he was a leader that was truly leading from the front. but he was also a leader that was open to ideas. Asiwaju never, for one, drilled down his own thoughts on the entire cabinet in one full sweep. He was ready to take others on. He was ready to listen, to other ideas in cabinet. And if you have superior arguments, if you have a belief that is very strong, he listens, and he listens very well.
In 1999, when he became the governor of Lagos State, I was deputy governor in Kano State. So we had opportunities to meet together, to attend the NEC meeting. If I had the opportunity to represent my governor at that time, even though he was in a different political party, we were in PDP, but equally the same as governor and deputy governor, we had the opportunity to know ourselves. And from there, I started seeing him as a giant politician. And he has proved me right so far.
Today I'm very, very proud to say
someone that is not very easy to describe. Asiwaju remains an enigma. He is highly intelligent, he's very tenacious, extremely courageous, he's very dependable and very reliable. He's a very consistent person.
Okay, can you tell me, is there any other man who can just beat his chest and say, yes, I've done this, I have raised councillor, I have raised supervisory councillor, I have raised chairman, I have raised even senator, House of Rep, even governors. Where is that man who will not use only his wife and his children?
He won't give to his ego because he has done his best in forming one of the largest political teams in Nigeria. When people believed it could not be done, he did it. Look at Lagos. What he enunciated, the program he formulated, have been followed by successive, and then Lagos today now is one of the best cities in Africa, if not in the world. This is coming from the brain of a single person and his ability to muster people together to have a common goal.
Tinubu is one of the best governors Lagos State has ever produced. And consequent governor has followed his footsteps. He has also improved on the life of our youth.
We sincerely accept him. I think his tenure in Lagos State, he did his best.
He listens to everybody. But when he's by himself, later at night, middle of the night, the man that never sleeps. Sometimes we have dinner around 2 a.m., 3 a.m. Not only me, with him alone, with other people like that. That's when he starts thinking what everybody has said since morning. Then he'll come out with the right decision to make.
He's been very consistent and has left people without wavering. His governance of Lagos was very forthright. His governance of Lagos very spectacular.
As far back as at the time when I was there as chairman of the EFCC, we investigated almost all the governments then. And not just we, because we had very good quality partnership with the UK authorities and also America, FBI. And I remember we did a thorough job in looking into Lagos State, honestly, genuinely. And I told you we were working with Metropolitan Police closely, and they were also looking at some of the governments because we had very close relationship, with the UK. Our people go there, we do business, they are interested just like we are also interested in seeing things are done very well and proper in Nigeria. And the work we did, I remember I appeared before our National Assembly one time, and they were asking me about what somebody asked about Lagos State. Say, what about Lagos State? I said, well, probably we've done our own, but it also has an international angle. What I meant then was that outside Nigeria, the authorities there are also looking, because Lagos economy was extremely important to all, very big economy, probably number 5 in Africa. And they were interested. They wanted to see how things are done. So they carried their own investigations, and it was okay, legitimate, because we relate very well. And I told the National Assembly, Senate in particular, that in the case of Lagos State, I think the international community were also looking and checking. And they did. We personally, we didn't see anything. We didn't. And that's why we ended up not taking any case to court with respect of Lagos State.
There is a saying in Yoruba land, Akonda Eda Omo Odua. That's a very short phrase of what I'm going to use to qualify Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Hate him or like him. The truth be told, he has still been relevant and will continue to be very relevant in the face of democratic process, governance, and above all in the history of we the entire Yoruba people.
BAT said, education is the greatest weapon against poverty. We cannot innovate without education. We need a leader who is a thinker and a doer. Bola Tinubu did not only think, he did.
Be it in infrastructure, in education, in health, in social welfare, in security, and more resoundingly in revenue generation. If you remember, they laid that foundation given the beginning of that Fourth Republic. And these were ideas, these were novel ideas that certainly couldn't all be broken in 8 years. So that foundation was rock solid.
That should not be so surprising. He had drank his fill from the well of wisdom and governance of the great Obafemi Awolowo. He understood early that you can be a big fish in a small pond, but that does not help anybody. His vision has always been too big for restricted spaces. He reached out, built bridges to link up with everybody. He is friends with people from every nationality. He shook hands across divides. The Emir of Bogu acknowledged his good works and made him the Jagaban Bogu, leader of warriors, a title he wears with pride. He is also the Areagu of Egbaland, an honor bestowed on him by the Alake of Egbaland.
We installed Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu as the Areagu of Egbaland because of his performance in Lagos over the period of 1999 to 2007. The way he turned around the biggest metropolitan in Nigeria, a city of 20 million people. The performance, in spite of the absence of federally collected revenue over that period, was marvelous. And we thought he deserved to be encouraged to greater heights.
On behalf of the Silverbird family, I present this award to a great man, an incredible man, a man who has achieved great things in his lifetime.
As I told you, in his cabinet, he had an Igbo as a member of his cabinet, and I know a number of 2 or 3 Northerners who are members of chairman of boards and others. So he brought Nigeria together under his administration in Lagos.
Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Jagaban Bogu, has not always been all work, politics, and books, and no play. Even a man of the people must at some point find time to attend to matters of the heart. find a soulmate, someone to share the evenings with. In fair, beautiful Oluremi, Bola Tinubu found his missing rib. It never mattered to them that their modes of worship differed. A man of the people does not permit such limitations. Since then, they have been joined in happy, fruitful marriage.
When I met him, it was in the corporate world. I was teaching, and children started coming, and our career over the years, took a different turn. And from each turn comes different challenges. But for where we are at now, I see him being a father to so many, be a husband to so many people, be a friend to so many people, be a big brother to so many people, be an uncle to a lot of people. And some people will wonder, why did I say husband? You see, we women have different needs. Is it some of the friends that have gone to be with the Lord? At times their wives will come for, they might have difficulty or challenges. He has to be there for them as well.
She has been the person that found diamond in the rough, to the extent that she keeps him in check and keeps him grounded. So I thank Allah for the senator, for being so loyal, for being not just a wife, but a friend of her husband.
He loves without measure, and a sacrifice to give is something else. So for me to come to accept that, it took me to really seek God to really understand where I'm at, for me not to go crazy. What is going on? He's not someone who believes in small talks with women, not even his wife. He's a man all the way, so he will keep that to himself. And he doesn't want me to even talk about people. If they are his friends, he's always committed to them. And I see that. And I don't want to stand before God someday and say I misled his servant. I won't want to do that. And that's why people have access to him. When they say, I said, go meet him.
The hero status. To your spouse, children, relations, and those who trust and follow you does not come cheaply. The hero must pay a price, a big price. Loneliness, betrayals, indignities, deprivations, denials, even incarcerations and bereavements sometimes. Those selected by providence and elected by fate are, however, equipped to surmount challenges. They're built to last with courage. They are of strong faith, and even in moments alone, when strength fails and belief totters, they persevere, remain consistent.
For me, I don't know whether any other person has used that adjective for him to describe him. For me, I always describe Bola Ahmed Tinubu as legendary. As a man that has many parts, and is a man that so many stories can be told about, because he's played his part.
As Arole Oduduwa, I will continue to give him the adoration and respect. Ọlọ́run Olódùmarè àti ẹ̀sìn dálẹ̀ ilẹ̀ káàárọ̀ oòjíire a máa bá mi dúró tì wọ́n. Gbogbo àdáwọ́lé wọn a máa yọrí sí rere. Wọn ò ní ṣubú, wọn ò ní dànù. Porogodo ayé kò dẹ̀ ní lù fún wọn jó. Bí wọ́n ṣe ń ṣe ọdún yìí gẹ́gẹ́ bí aṣíwájú fún wa nípa bí wọ́n ṣe ń tò ìlú. Ọlọ́run Olódùmarè á máa bá mi fún wọn ní okun àti agbára. Yíyẹ ló máa ń yẹ ẹyẹ lé, dídẹ̀ ló máa ń dẹ àdàbà lọ́rùn. Báyé ṣe ń yẹ wọ́n báyìí kò ní yẹ̀ sílẹ̀ fún wọn. Gbẹ̀dẹ̀ báyìí ló máa ń dẹ kókò lágbàlá. Ìran àbàtà ara ò ní rí, ara ò ní ní wọn.
This is Bola Tinubu, Asiwaju of Lagos, Areago of Egbaland, Jagabambogo. He will remain a reference point at every juncture of our country's history. This is Bola Ahmed Adekunle Tinubu, detribalized nationalist, committed democracy activist, political genius, loving husband, devoted father, philanthropist, a true friend indeed to all who call him friend. Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the blazing grace.
My real prayer for him, Nicola Funarugbo Emilo. He'll be 80, he'll be 90, he'll be 100. Long life for him.
Happy birthday, the Jagaba of Nigeria. Happy birthday, my good friend and a good man. Happy birthday. I wish you the best in life.
Bola Tinubu, mo kí lọ́wọ́ fún ayẹyẹ ọjọ́ ìbí báyìí. Kí Ọlọ́run bá kó jọ kó tún ṣe ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ ọdún ẹ̀. Kí lè má jáse mọ́.
I wish you long life, good health, and more role to play in the development of our country.
DJ Gaban, Bogu, you can trust that I have best wishes for you on your birthday.
For me, the force that is behind him, that is still with him, every day of my life I pray for that force to continue to be with me too.
First is to wish him good health. Is to wish him that God will be gracious. Providence will be kind to him and give him long life.
Àkànbí ọmọ olódòdé, ọkọ mi, happy birthday. We thank God for such a wonderful life you've lived, a life of service. I want to wish you many, many more years of service to our motherland. And also that as you continue to grow in age, that God will increase your wisdom. And as your years, so shall your strength be. Your strength will not fail you. And no matter how long you live, Moses lived 120 years. The Bible said that his eyes did not fail him, nor his natural force. I pray for you that you will live long to see the fruit of your labor, and also to see your children's children walk the land. And we will live together in strength, in divine health, for as long as we want to live. And God will grant us that. Happy birthday, my love.
Asiwaju show color. show color rẹ. Mọ́mí rẹ̀ mi show color rẹ. Mo ní kó show color rẹ o. Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, oh, yeah, oh. Asiwaju show